Hello and welcome to the online training for Horizon Education. During this time, we're going to go over some information pertaining to how to run your own SAT prep program on your campus. It's really everything's laid out for you. There's really nothing else you need to do past this point, as we'll take care of everything with regards to scheduling, making sure you're prepared with the proper amount of materials, and also having the curriculum you need in place to run your program. The purpose of this video is twofold, is to show you where to find your resources to run your own program, and secondly, how to actually work through the curriculum to make sure it's effective in class. So before we get started on everything, I want to show you a little bit about how what are the three components of this course. I'm going to start with your files. We'll start with your files here, and what's going to happen after this video, you're going to be receiving a Google Drive link, and within this link from Google, you'll find everything that you see listed here: your course documents, your results, and then SAT data by district is a sample. So I'm going to jump right in, just kind of be familiar with this. Your course documents. Everything listed here is pretty much all you need to run this course. First, SAT Jeopardy. In this SAT Jeopardy folder, you actually have 2 games to play. And we'll show you where to include these games within your current schedule, but they're here readily available for you. You don't need to create your own games. You don't need to work out some of the answers. Everything's laid out for you there. So I encourage you, go through, check out SAT Jeopardy, and you'll see we'll point it out within your syllabus where to put that in there. But it's fun, play around with it. There's really nothing that you can delete or mess up with in there. Next, you have the practice exam answers and the practice exams. Your students completed a practice exam either earlier this month or just finishing the exam. And with that, you actually have copies of all 3 of those exams. And why they're important is when you do SAT review days, which I'll tie into what your schedule looks like, these are where you'll find the exams. So you don't have to worry about if the student has a question or you want to put this up on your board. Everything is here for you in this file. Next, you have the exam answers and explanations. So don't worry, if you're a math teacher who's trying to teach a specific subject in English you're not too comfortable with, everything is listed here for you, so you don't have to worry about, do I need to explain and do I need to answer this correctly for the student? I want to take a moment to really hone in on exactly what I just said there. This course is designed for teachers to facilitate. It's not a design to educate, because this is test prep. We only have a certain amount of weeks to get that student's SAT score up 100, 150 points plus. And so how do we do that? And that really comes into strategy. And so throughout this course, you'll notice there's a lot of strategy based from the information that we provide to the students, both online as well as through an actual book. So don't worry about you having to educate the students. For example, if you're an English teacher trying to teach math and you're not too comfortable on the math portion of, say, Algebra 2, that's not the design of the course. Some of the highest improvements we have through this course are from teachers like art teachers, foreign language teachers, drama teachers, because they're coming in with the skills of saying, hey, I'm putting these kids in groups, I want them to learn from each other and really work through the strategies versus the content. Next, you have a PDF high quality sample of the student score report. Now this is good when you spend some time going over how to interpret the score reports, which we'll show you as we get through this training. This is a copy of the score report, so you can show this to them as they get their own score reports back in class. Lastly, you have your SAT writing exemplars. So when we go over the SAT essay, you can pull these up if you'd like. We'll show you where to incorporate those within your lesson, but they're there readily available for you at any time. And last but not least, your syllabus. So these are just sample syllabi. If you are teaching at a local school here, you'll see obviously the thing that I want you to look at is the 4-class, the 6-class syllabus. If you're teaching a 4-class syllabus, which is typically a Saturday-only course, there are 4 live instructional classes that last for 4 hours each, so that you're actually teaching 16 hours of live instruction. If you're teaching our typical standard 6 class, which you'll notice when we look at your schedules, If it's 6 classes at 2.5 or so hours each, this is the 6 class schedule. So you'll see here everything broken down. So for this video, I'm going to click on the 6 class schedule. These are classes that account for if you're running a Monday, a Tuesday only, a Wednesday only, or a Thursday only course. The other one is for a Saturday only. So what we notice here through the syllabus is every specific thing is laid out for you. You have what you're doing on class 1. And the real big takeaway from this video is focus solely on what you're going to do for your class 1. The whole purpose is how can I make it through class 1, because you will learn a lot as you go through class 1. There really isn't anything that you can mess up through this course because everything's laid out for you. Everything's simple and effective, so you don't have to worry about doing a ton of prep work or making sure that you're moving along. Did you hit everything? Everything is laid out for you. You'll notice here, I'm going to take you through a quick walkthrough on class 1, and then I'm going to jump in how to interpret the information from the syllabus into action. Class 1, hour 1. So we noticed that in class 1, and let me pull up here as a sample through this. The sample that I have here under results, I'm just going to pick up for an example here. Here is a sample school. This sample school has decided to go through a Wednesday only course, which meets 6 times, hence the 6 class sessions. This class meets, so most of the students have taken SAT number 1. Then the class 1 will start, say, on this date. This class 1 is associated on your syllabus, that the folder you'll get right here. Everything is listed here from SAT number 1, class 1. Hour 1, you'll be going over the Prezi. Now, we utilize Prezi throughout the entire course. Prezis are basically PowerPoint lessons on steroids. And I'm going to show you how to access those and what those mean, but you'll be going during the first hour Prezi SAT Prep Introduction number 1. It shows here a later series of the warm-up, the classwork, and the homework. Now, everything listed here, these bullet points, are found within the Prezi. I'll explain that in a sec, so don't worry about that. It'll all come together and make a little bit more sense as we work through the Prezi files. Hour 2 is another Prezi, SAT Reading. So you'll see quick review, the classwork, and the homework, and then the last one is the SAT number 1 review. That everything's laid out here and it's explained for you here. As I mentioned, your goal is to work through class number 1, and this is just a sample. You'll get your own syllabus for your own class that has to do with class number 1. So the first thing that I mentioned, number 1, the most important thing about this course are the Prezis. This is where everything comes into play as far as where we find this. Number 2 would be obviously your folder here that you'll receive, and you're going to receive this via a Google link, so keep an eye out for that. And then last but not least, I'm going to show you are the actual Prezi files here. So let me minimize this so you can get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. So we've talked about you'll get your link, you'll get your course files. I highly recommend you go through your course files and you start working through those files to make sure you understand where to find things. Anytime your students take a practice exam, we will mail out hard copies of the reports for the students, but your electronic copies for your class will be found in this folder, results. So you don't have to worry about where do I find my results. Everything will be listed in there. So if you provide a SAT number 2 or even number 3, we'll score your assessments and we'll also put those in to the actual folder for you, and we'll let you know when they're in there. So everything can be found in this course folder and these course documents here. So we talked about the course folder. Now let's talk about the Prezis. First thing you're going to want to do is let's try to access this. So take a moment and type in horizoneducation.com. You can pause the video at this time and then obviously play it once you've logged in. Now that you're logged into horizoneducation.com, you'll notice on the home page there's a little button that says Login. The login gives you access to these Prezi files. And as I mentioned from class number 1, the Prezi files are what you'll start every class with. So you'll notice here that when you click on login, it's going to prompt you for a password. And that password is in all lowercase, PREP. P-R-E-P. Just like test prep, but it's just PREP. So go ahead and take a moment, press login, And you'll only need to provide your password once. Just type in prep. And once you've done that, unpause the video and press play, and I will show you where you'll be next. Once you've typed in prep, you'll have access to all of this information here. Everything's laid out for you here, from Prezi for SAT Introduction, SAT Reading, SAT Writing and Language, SAT Math, Heart of Algebra, SAT Essay, SAT Grammar, SAT Reading Passages, and SAT Passport to Advanced Math. Every single thing is laid out for you here, so you don't have to worry about where to find it, what am I doing on which day. And you'll remember, as I refer back to, let me pull this up for you here, as I refer back to your syllabus, you'll see here, hour number 1, class number 1, SAT Prep Introduction Prezi. So where do I find that? Well, look, SAT Introduction right here. So you've pressed login, you've logged in with the password prep, you click on SAT Introduction. So take a moment, pause the video, and click on SAT Prep Introduction, or SAT Introduction. All right. Now, once you've logged into your actual Prezi account, you'll be prompted with something that looks just like this. This is everything laid out for you. So you don't have to worry about doing any pre-work. You don't have to worry about creating your own syllabus, your own curriculum. Every single thing is laid out for you here into the actual Prezi files themselves. So what you have here is you have pre-made assessment, pre-made Prezi files. This starts with the SAT Introduction. The purpose of the SAT Prezis are really to take you from start to finish with what you're doing on each day. You'll notice here, just a reminder, when you're looking at your actual course syllabus, you'll see the first hour you're going through the Prezi. The Prezi will have a warm-up, it will have classwork, and will have homework involved with it. So this, you don't need to remind students, it's just to know these bullet points which you'll hit throughout the Prezis. Once in hour 1 you've accomplished completing SAT Prep Introduction number 1, then you'll take a break if you want, and then SAT Prezi, you'll look at hour 2, which is the SAT Reading. And as we talked about, here's the Reading Prezi. So everything is structured for you, so you don't need to even worry about really going through this and having to take more time than needed to prep for this. All you need to do is to make sure the information from the slides, the students can either work in groups or work independently while you leading. The way every one of these Prezis are structured for you is this. When they come into class, there's typically a warm-up. We've realized over time after school, if they come right into class and you have them right away start teaching and having them learn, it can kind of be disruptive to you as well as the course. So what we have them do is once they come into class, there is a warm-up. And you'll notice through this, here's the warm-up. It's built into here, and you'll notice on Prezi number 1, the first slide here is a warm-up. You can make this into a full screen here. Now Prezi is cool because it's just more interactive for kids. It's not just a PowerPoint, slides that just go back and forth. These are interactive where stuff is moving along. So you'll see here the SAT Introduction is designed to give you some more information about the test. It's designed to take you from start to finish on strategies before we get into the real content, which is reading and writing and so forth. So for this preparation here, for class number 1 for every school site, what we're going to be spending our time with is today we're going to take you through the introduction, the reading, and the writing. And the purpose of our conversation piece here is to only spend about 20 minutes per Prezi showing you the functionality, showing you things that you can zoom in and you can zoom out, and you can talk about. For example, you can zoom in on any Prezi by double clicking, just to show you some of the functionality. In your time as you prepare for this, I would like you to spend time, focus first on class 1, go through the Prezis, look at them. How would you like to explain this? All the materials there. That's the most important thing, obviously. And so you'll spend some time going through your course folder. You'll also spend some time going through the actual Prezi files to see how do you want to prepare this. The idea is letting the students speak for you. They're coming into class after school. The design for it is obviously fun. Educate them on anything that you feel is important off of these Prezi slides and let them work in a group. We try to break things up so there's a little bit of instructional time where you're showing them, instructing them how to do some stuff, and then they break out into some sessions. And so have fun with this. Go through this making sure that you feel comfortable with using the Prezis. They're all set for you, so you don't have to worry about locking them up. So this is the intro. And last but not least, we talked about what was that third piece, and the third piece is the course book. The course book is a book that every student will receive at the start of their course. They'll be delivered to your school site roughly a week before the classes start. And as you pass these out to the actual students, let them keep them. I just want to make note as we talk about the actual book. Let me find a copy of what this book looks like here. Let me go to this one moment. The actual book itself, right here, it looks just like this. Let me zoom in here and double click to show you. The actual book just looks just like this. The cover. Every student gets a book. Now I just want to make it apparent that this book is to be brought to class with them every session. If you're teaching the weekday sessions at 4 hours, they bring it once a week on the weekends. Similarly, if you do it on the weekdays. So make sure that they bring this book with them for every class, because this is where they'll do their warm-ups and this is where they'll do their classwork and also homework with that. So I just bring that up to provide you with some information and some clarification with that. So the three things. Number one, just to close out, you'll receive a link through Google that we'll send out to you shortly that will have your course documents, which you can see here to go through. You can see here the results, if you'll need to find your results for your class, you'll click in there, you'll find what your SAT results are. And then next, you'll have access, which you'll find access to your syllabus. Next, you will have access to the Prezi files, in which we talked about where to find those, which we're going to horizoneducation.com, clicking on login. Once you log in, you would do enter in the lowercase password prep, and you'll have access to all these Prezis. These Prezis tied directly into your course syllabus that you'll receive. And then it breaks it down hour by hour, and from here. And you'll notice everything is broken down. Here's SAT Jeopardy at the end there. There's the SAT Math Introduction, which is another Prezi. Heart of Algebra is another Prezi. SAT Writing and Language is another Prezi. So everything, like I said, is broken down by Prezi. You'll see here SAT number 2 review. And you'll also see here SAT number 3 review. So in closing, I just want to provide you with a little bit more explanation on what we're going to be doing in this following video. The following videos will take you through just showing you the functionality of Prezi, some main points to discuss throughout Prezi, as well as how to get kids to kind of follow along, and most importantly, kind of getting you some familiarity with going through this. So take your time. If you need to revisit this video, please watch it over again. If not, please jump into the next set of videos, which will be going over the actual SAT introduction, as well as going through the SAT reading for the Prezis. So thank you again for your time, and if any questions, we'll set up an individual call with you to help answer. Thank you.